Shri Mataji wanted to bless the Nabhi of Pune, and she asked me to look for a plot to buy a restaurant. I noticed an empty plot outside opposite my house, and we purchased the plot. Then one day I suddenly found that somebody had fenced the plot. So I inquired, and the neighbor, it seems, had fenced the plot because he insisted that it was a part of his plot. So the matter went up to the court and continued for several years. I held myself responsible because I had wasted the money of Shri Mataji. I felt very guilty. Then Shri Mataji said, "It's not your fault. You did whatever was necessary, and now you should leave it to Param Chaitanya." Then suddenly one day, I was purchasing a car from a car dealer, and the car dealer asked me if I knew of any plot. I showed him the plot and I explained him the legal problem. So he said that he would like to purchase the plot. I told him the market price. We had purchased the plot in 1994 for 4.5 lakhs, and the market price was 70 lakhs, and he paid 70 lakhs for it. I was really very surprised. Why would anybody buy a plot which is only on paper and there is a legal court case pending on it? And then I realized that this was the working of the Param Chaitanya. The Param Chaitanya protects us in every possible way. And Shri Mataji was very pleased that because my intention was pure, the Param Chaitanya protected me. What else could it be but divine intervention? The experience gave me a new understanding of her divinity. I realized that the truth cannot be explained or analyzed because it is beyond the rational brain. Just accept truth as it is, and likewise, when things are not working out, not to question it. The truth plays hide and seek, but at the right time it suddenly pops out, and that is called Ritumbara Pragya. I learned to watch the beautiful play of Ritumbara Pragya and was no more worried. As a season ushered by Ritumbara Pragya followed their ordained order, likewise the truth presents itself when its season ripens. And that is what brings joy and beauty. That is how the various seasons created by nature make life so beautiful. In 1999, Shri Mataji was returning from Ganpati Pule. I was in her car, and a yogini, Deepa Magdum, was attending on her, was in the following car. It had been a hectic week, and Shri Mataji slept off in the back seat. After a while it got chilly. Usually she covered herself with a shawl or a quilt during sleep. Just then, Deepa's car overtook us and signaled us to stop. Deepa emerged from the car with a shawl to cover Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji was deeply touched.
The concern of Saj Yogis for me is such that they just know what I need. If I need something, they don't ask me, they just do. Like I needed a shawl, Deepa just knew and stopped the car to give it. When I'm thirsty, she offers me water without my asking for it.
If a yogi keeps his attention on Shri Mataji, he knows what she needs without being told. Likewise, if our attention is on her, everything we want flows our way spontaneously. More recently, in 2016, 17 yogis from Benin returned to Bombay from Ganpatipule. They had an ardent desire to visit the Mahasamadhi in Delhi, but being New Year's Eve, there were no train tickets available. They decided to take a bus to Delhi. A 3-day bus ride to Delhi would be too much, and the local collective tried to dissuade them, but they were adamant. The collective concern was such that it earnestly prayed for them and gave bandhans for train tickets. The vibrations were cool, and they again went to the train station for tickets. The booking clerk shrugged discouragingly, but they begged her to check the computer. She looked surprised. 5 cancellations? Just as she printed the 5 tickets, there were 7 more cancellations, and then 2 more, and thus all 17 got on board the train. Of course, the concern of Param Chaitanya was such that it could not bear her children to suffer a tedious 3-day bus journey to pay homage to their Holy Mother. But it also showed something else. When the devotion is so deep, then the Param Chaitanya is impelled to bend before it. It reminded me of a Sufi couplet. At another public program in Washington, a Sahaj Yogi who had taken a certain responsibility failed to turn up at the last moment. Without being aware of the situation, another yogi volunteered and fulfilled his task spontaneously. The compulsion of the Param Chaitanya is such that its invisible connectivity works silently. The concern connects our Kundalini to the power of Param Chaitanya, and then the Param Chaitanya takes over and starts working it out. The concern for others, the concern for public welfare, and more recently, the collective concern for Iraq Syrian refugees has resulted in altering the mind track of global leaders in the most amazing way. Their favorable response of taking in refugees defies their country's profiles.
Param Chaitanya knows. It knows how to express its love. Not only that, but it's an eternal feeling of love, which may change its hue, color, but the concern of that love will be the same. The essence of love is concern. Even if, supposing, somebody does wrong, the concern of the divine would be to correct that person. Concern. Or what we say as hita is the benevolence. So the concern for the benevolence will be all the time there, whether it may appear to be sometimes cruel, might appear to be affectionate, might appear to be overindulgent, whatever it may take a form, like a wave. Whichever way it may look, but actually it's for your benevolence. It works for your benevolence. Not only your benevolence, but the collective benevolence. If you understand this point, then you'll never be disappointed in your life.
December 1991, Shri Mataji invited the children from Dharamsala school to Pratishthan for lunch. After lunch, each class was called and presented gifts. When my daughter Pragya's class was called, her friends asked her to stand up first to receive the gifts. Shri Mataji turned to me. You are in charge of the school, and hence your daughter should be the last to receive the gifts. It was an important lesson because there was a tendency amongst us always to sit in the front with our children to attract Shri Mataji's attention, not realizing that the child felt he had a prerogative over other children to sit in the front, and that boosted his or her ego. Mindful of the lesson, I kept my daughter in the back, and shy as she was very happy to be that way. The following December, the children were again invited, and Shri Mataji generously bestowed them gifts. But when it was the turn of my daughter's class, my daughter did not rise. Shri Mataji noticed it and was pleased. As the children were departing, she sent for her and gave her an extra gift. Next day at the puja, she reminded us, the first shall be the last. Following her instructions, all of us who were in the back row came in front, and those who were in the front row went to the back. Wait, do not hear her say that those who have not seen her are stronger in faith. I was reminded of a yogini from Iran. She said, I'm very envious of you because you spend so much time with Shri Mataji. I said, I'm very envious of you that without seeing Shri Mataji, without meeting Shri Mataji, you have so much faith in her.
Without meditation, you will be in meditation. Without being in my presence, you will be in my presence. Without asking, you will be blessed by your Father.
The collective withstood a harsh, stalwart yogi who constantly rebuked others about Sahaj protocols. Complaints of his oppression reached Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji assured, "Your spirit cannot be oppressed. No one can oppress you. You have a direct relationship with me." However, as complaints continued, she reminded, "I am working on him. Until then, why don't you use your power to bear? Love itself is the protocol, but it has to be the love of the spirit."
He tried to take charge of Shri Mataji and accompanied her everywhere. One time, Shri Mataji asked some other yogis to accompany her instead of him. He got so offended that he resigned from the organization. The collective was jubilant. Good riddance of bad rubbish. But Shri Mataji was worried about him. We forgave him mentally, but not from within. The wounds were still fresh, and our hearts forgot to pray for his return. A month later, he met with a terrible accident. When Shri Mataji heard of it, tears poured in her eyes.
My heart grieves for my lost child. All my children are channels of my love. But what am I to do if the channels of my love turn into channels of malice? It is true, I do not punish anyone, but the deities do not forgive. I have to intercede on your behalf to stop them from punishing your misdeeds. The deities obey me, but I have given freedom to human beings. The freedom of the collective is very powerful and can work miracles if the collective desire is used for addressing the problems of the society. But it can also be used in working in the opposite direction, as your collective desire to punish him worked, and therefore he could not be saved. I cannot take away your freedom, but you have to have the compassion how to use it.
I introspected. If A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. But rationality was not one of the tools in the list of the goddess. For sure, if we are to function as her channels, then we have to use the tool she has bestowed upon us. To fathom the brain of the Virata, there is no other route but to follow the principle of Mahat Ahankara and Mahat Mana. Hence, why allow our ego and superego to suppress the pure desire of our Kundalini? Wow, that's asking for a lot. But how about borrowing the tool of innocence from our elder brother, Shri Ganesha, the one who is pure consciousness, essence of innocence, and bears no malice in his heart? A woodcutter used to pass his days in devotion to the Lord. He would look at the sky and pray, "O Lord, every moment I take your name, but why do you not visit my hut? Please descend from heaven. I will drink the water from washing your feet. I will serve you day and night. Whatever alms I collect will be offered to you first." While he was thus praying, a priest happened to pass by and rebuked him. God would surely punish you for such propositions. The woodcutter was heartbroken. Suddenly an angel of God appeared and said, "O priest, what have you done? What have you done? You have estranged an innocent devotee from God. You were sent to unite human beings to God, but you have divided them." I bowed before the goddess and prayed in all humility, "Please protect us from priests. Please save Sahaj Yoga from becoming ritualistic. Please protect us from becoming fanatical. Thy will be done."